Right, welcome back to another Champions Journey interview with me, Dan Holloway, in Scrap the 9 to 5, where we basically talk with champions who have taken a journey towards replacing their income so that they're free to create choice and freedom in their lives. And today's guest is a bloody awesome example of using the coaching path to do that. I'm joined today by Cordelia. Hey, Corks, how you doing? Oh, and by the way, I'll call her Corks continually throughout this. We're actually mates, and Corks is her nickname. So if I say Corks, that's who she is. How you doing?
It throws everybody. Like when we're in a room full of people and you're like, Corks, I'm like, they don't know who Corks is.
Yeah. You just see like all these confused faces and people like, what is he talking about?
You'll think we're getting the wine out. I'm really great, Dan. It's good to be here and it's good to see your face again.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this. And thank you for sharing your experience, because obviously we know each other very well after we met online, which I know always sounds a little bit dodgy, but we're in online business. You know, it's just Corks here saw one of my YouTube ads, but Corks has had an incredible journey, particularly over the last couple of years. I'm just going to do a brief intro of some of your headline achievements, and please let me know if any of this is wrong or if I misunderstood anything, Corks. But you started a business at the beginning of the pandemic, a coaching business, as a way to help business owners who were looking to network and win clients, as a way to help them in these difficult times. So start of the pandemic, you start a new business, a coaching business. Within 9 months, you surpass 6 figures completely organically with zero ad spend, right? And that to me, I'm like, okay, there's no better example of making lemonade out of lemons than that kind of situation. Like, if you're going to start a business in the midst of a pandemic and pass 6 figures in 9 months, bloody awesome. And then I believe you recently had your first 40K week in your business as well, in Rebellious Business. And you've had speaking gigs, you've been featured in the media, in Closer magazine, in Natwest, Business Insider, St. James's Place, Oxford Mail, Oxford Times. You've won 2 awards and you've spoken at the prestigious Expert Empires event, and you were invited to speak on a panel for the future of networking alongside the author of Networking for Dummies.
Yeah, God, don't I sound cool, eh? Honestly, that is true.
Amazing. So without further ado, for everyone watching, please could you give us a little bit of an idea of what was your background? What was life like before you started making all of these awesome, phenomenal achievements?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I always wonder where to start with this story. I guess I'm going to start my first business, which was 2015. And I was like, I want to start a business. Now, it wasn't because I didn't like my job. It wasn't a scrap the 9 to 5 situation. I was a nurse and I actually really enjoyed that. I got my career sorted out. But there were a couple of things going on. Firstly, I remember feeling like, well, I've got my career. I've got 3 kids. I'm married. I've got the house. Is that it now? Is that all of my like achievements achieved? Like, what happens next? Secondly, home life was quite rocky. My marriage was not good. And I started that first business so that I could bring some stability home, also create a bit more revenue so that I could spend more time with the kids, be at home more, and just focus on my family as much as I could. But yeah, I mean, it just didn't work. It was an eBay business. I had no idea what I was doing. I was importing these great big massive boxes that were like almost as big as me, like ride on cars, and selling them on eBay. And I just was never getting into any profit. So after a couple of years, I'm a trier. It took me 2 years to finally give up. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just not enjoying this. 1, I'm not getting any fulfillment from this business whatsoever. 2, it's hard work. 3, there was just 2 ways to go. I either needed to get a massive warehouse so that I get more stock so that I would have a bigger profit margin, or I needed to somehow manage to fight against everybody that was managing to sell them cheaper than me. And I just couldn't work out what I was doing wrong. So I shut down that business and I went back to the drawing board, and I was like, right, I actually really like some elements of that. I enjoyed being able to be creative. I enjoyed putting the listings together. I enjoyed doing my own photography, building my website, even though that was hard work. And I enjoyed a lot of the online elements to it, but I had no idea what I could do that didn't involve a physical product, because when you go on a new venture like that, you kind of tend to just get drawn to what the most tangible option is. For me, that was the most tangible option. I understood that you buy a product, you increase the price, you sell the product. Right? It's just easy to understand. So I was looking for all kinds of things, but I didn't know how you get into business consulting or web design or marketing or any of these online business things that you can do to replace your income or start a side business or whatever. And then I found affiliate marketing, which is how me and Dan met. So I guess it's quite a long story, and I'm not going to long it out anymore. But what happened at that stage is that I realized what I was missing in that previous business, and it was branding and it was marketing. Because what I was doing was I was competing with everybody that had exactly the same product as me. There was no difference. And of course, what do? You just pick the cheaper one if you were shopping on eBay. And so I started learning about how you set yourself apart from the crowd, how you market yourself, how you put together irresistible offers, and how you put together YouTube campaigns and blogging and everything, just from start to finish. Just started getting my marketing education, and I was actually quite good at it. And I actually found a passion that I wasn't expecting to find. And within 6 months, I quit nursing and was like, right, I'm all in on this. I'm burning the boats. I don't want to go back. I don't want a plan B. This is the ticket to give me a life that I didn't even realize was ever going to be within my reach. So yeah, I just threw myself all in and started focusing on that. And that's kind of where it started.
And then, so we'll pick up on that point, and then how did you get into coaching in just a second. But before you do, I just want to talk about this whole thing of you tried several ventures, right? You tried the toy cars through eBay, so physical products business. You then went into affiliate marketing. Obviously, now you're about to tell us about your coaching journey. But a lot of people in the early stages, I think, can relate to this feeling of there being a lot of different choices and a lot of different options out there. And how do you figure out what is the right one for you? Because that's a challenge you mentioned, like the physical products business. There are elements of it that you were good at, but there are also elements that just wasn't really a good fit. So how would you describe, if somebody's in that position where they've got many different options, they don't know what the right way is for them, what advice would you give someone to just try and find that right vehicle for them to use to create the goal they want of replacing their income?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've coached hundreds now of startup business owners in that space. And the biggest common running theme across a lot of these people who are wanting to start a business is that I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what skills I've got. I don't really know who I am. And especially, I think if you're a woman and you've been raising children and you're also working and you're running the house, or if you're a single dad and you've got such a lot of levels of responsibility, often there isn't enough time for you to really dig in and dive in to find out who you are. I mean, I never had that gap year and went traveling. And I left school at 13 and I started having children quite young, and I worked and worked and worked. And I never had that time to explore, who am I? What makes me tick? Yeah. And the reason why is because if you don't explore things, you're never going to know. And the only reason why I discovered this huge passion I've got for marketing and entrepreneurship, to the point where I literally live and breathe it. I mean, my Glastonbury is a business conference. I'm a total nerd for it. And the only reason why I discovered that is because I explored different avenues. I was video editing. I was managing social media for a Canadian company. I was exploring all of these different things. And I think that you've got to allow yourself to be in explorative mode. Explorative. Explore.
One of those words.
Allow yourself to explore, right? You don't need to have the final outcome in your hand in a box right now. You may decide to start affiliate marketing, or you may decide to start coaching, but what happens is that's an evolution, because as you start climbing that learning curve and you're learning all these new skills, you're learning how to use Facebook in a different way, you're learning how to create content, you're learning how to market, you're learning how to put yourself out there, you're getting out in front of a camera for the first time to get your message across. These things push you out of your comfort zone, and it's a big learning curve. And it's one that takes you on a journey of self-discovery, because not only do you explore so many different areas and so many different things, but you have to go on a bit of a personal development journey as well, and find out a little bit about who you are and what blocks you've got that are stopping you from achieving success or moving forward and doing work on yourself. And you learn so much about who you are. So my advice would be, in a nutshell, like, allow yourself to be in that explorer phase of discovering, well, self-discovery of like what makes you tick, what you're passionate about, what you love, what you could be really good at, what you could help people with. And that's just going to take some time for you to explore that if you haven't up to this point. Also looking at, what skills do I already have from my previous job? Because all the skills that you've got in your job, they're totally transferable.
Yeah.
My skills as a waitress, being able to prioritize. No, sorry, my skills as a nurse, waitress was before that. My skills as a nurse, being able to prioritize care, being compassionate, being able to listen, like helping people, like that, all of that is transferable to being a coach, right? So you may not realize quite how transferable those things are. So having a look at those, but just allowing yourself to be in that explorer phase, be in that learning mode, discovering who you are and what makes you tick, and also being okay with the fact that this is an evolution. It's going to evolve in whatever way it does. That's what I would say.
I think, that's brilliant advice. And it's if you're willing to just try something, just put yourself out there, take some kind of action. And if it's the wrong action or the wrong path for you, that's cool. That's fine. You can pivot, you can change direction. But the absolute worst thing is just staying stuck and doing nothing. Because then, like you say, Courts, you don't get that evolution. You don't get an insight into new ideas and new worlds that cause you to grow and develop and find out what actually does make you tick. So golden bit of advice, just do something, and if it's wrong, pivot.
Exactly. But I think the first step is often the hardest. Definitely. So what happened then? You talked about affiliate marketing, and you talked about your conventions being your Glastonbury. Do you recognize this mug, by the way? I do. I do recognize that.
It's a little story behind that. We the first time we actually met in real life, not through Zoom, was at this convention that was Phoenix, wasn't it, in Arizona, called the Marketing Mastery Convention. And then we ended up having a little tour with 5 of us to the Grand Canyon afterwards. Got my Dan Grand Canyon mug.
Definitely 6 of us.
Is it 6 of us? Caroline, Alex, Yiska, me, David, you, Alex. David. That was it. 6 of us. Sorry, I forgot Dave. Great times, but I digress. So the question I was going to ask is, you talked about affiliate marketing. You started getting good traction with affiliate marketing. I know you had 5-figure months in affiliate marketing as well. And what then happened to make the transition into coaching?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I am just a coach as well. I'm kind of more things than that, because I'm a business consultant mainly. Like I help people with strategy and I have the coaching skills because I've been accredited as a coach. And the reason why coaching is important in that element is that when we're helping people with their business, we've got to help them with themselves too. Behind every business is a human being. So that's where coaching meets business consulting for me. But what happened was, I mean, I was affiliate marketing. I was also doing other things. It was multiple income streams. I was editing videos for people. I was working as a social media manager. I was basically managing, the social media and arranging webinars and doing marketing for a Canadian company. I was building websites. And I was also affiliate marketing. So those things combined, I was bringing in money from different places, all based on the skills that I'd been learning along the way, because I was very quickly like, oh yeah, I can do that for you. Oh, do you need some help with that? Yeah, I can do that for you. Would you like me to help you? And so I, quickly sort of started replacing my income in different avenues. But what happened was that I was getting good at what I was doing, and I was helping people with that a lot, and then I became an ambassador for this education company we were in. And I was doing webinars for about a year on strategy and helping them with their the strategy of their business. And I just love strategy. I'm like, give me a puzzle and let me like sort it out. And but I just really enjoy that. So I did that. And I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail, but alongside the business journey of like getting all these skills and doing all of that, there's also the home life journey happening underneath it, which is that at home, my marriage is getting worse and rockier. And I'm realizing that really, in order for me to get myself to the next level, I'm going to have to leave that relationship because it's holding me back. And so I went to a retreat in Dominican Republic, and I came back and I was like, I know what I need to do. And I was terrified, but I took my kids and we left, and we went and we were in a caravan for 6 weeks. And then what happened was that we got settled into our new home, and everything was fine. Everything was great. And then I had a major car accident. My laptop was smashed up. I was smashed up. And I had these things that kept kind of pushing me back to the start line, if you like. And when you're at those early stages in your business and you have something that happens like that, there isn't really enough of a financial cushion. So I was like, everything's fine. I've got the self-belief. And I was sort of going and getting credit cards here and there to just give me that cushion that I needed for paying the rent. And then Christmas came and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's all going on. And then I'm getting, you know, the business is going okay, but it's still in very early stages, and I'm building up on those skills, but I'm helping a lot of people. And then I started working as a subcontracted like consultant for the education company that I was talking about a minute ago, where I was an ambassador for. They brought me on the team. So they brought me on the team, and that was brilliant, because what it gave me was like a solid year of just coaching loads of startup business owners on systems and strategy and funnels. And by the end of that, I had been running webinars for so long, I've been coaching so many people, that I was like, I'm ready. I'm just I'm gonna go and get my own private clients. So what happened was I left in January to do that. I went and got my coaching accreditation at the same time, because I was like, I want to be accredited in coaching, just so that I know I've got some tools and some skills to be able to like really help people move forward. Because I'd had my first couple of clients, and there were definitely a couple of personal blocks that they needed to get past in order to move forward. And I didn't have the safety net of, oh, you need to go and speak to this person or someone on the team over there, or you need to watch that training, because now it was just me. And I didn't have that education company to refer people back to. So I got my first couple of clients. I got accredited as a coach. And this is like February. And then we're hearing about what's going on in China. And then we're kind of sure it's coming over to the UK. And then it does. And then COVID hits and lockdown happens. And where I had got my first couple of clients from was just going to networking events and just getting myself out there and seeing like what is actually happening in the business world locally. Because I've been in the online space talking to people from all over the world for so long. It was like, well, what's happening on my doorstep? I don't know. So I started going to networking events, and I met quite a lot of people. I got some clients from that, and then they were closed. So I was like, well, I'll just start my own. I've been running webinars. I'm, you know, quite au fait with this kind of thing now. And I did. I just post out on social media. I was like, on Wednesday, we're going to launch this thing called the Rebellious Business Network. It's a networking event to keep people connected through times of COVID. All the local network events have been shut down. So come along to this one, come meet some new people, blah, blah, blah. And a few people rocked up on the first call, and then we did it again and we did it again. And because I was showing up there and positioning myself as an authority or like an expert or whatever, and supporting people and helping people and then building relationships, I, you know, was very quickly fully booked with people needing support with their business.
Brilliant. There's two things that I've picked up on there that I just want to kind of hone in on a little bit. So number one, your journey, right? If you 3 years ago would have tried to predict or plan out how everything would have ended up going, would have been completely impossible. Like there's elements of, you know, from the physical products business and affiliate marketing and then freelancing, subcontracting, working with all sorts of different companies for different things, different ideas. It was like the journey was just absolutely all over the place. And one of the things that, well, both I heard in what you're talking about there, and also because I know you, I think one of the biggest things is that you've always got a huge element of like self-belief, of trust and faith that things will always work out. And I've always got the sense that that has served you, because no matter what happens, you've always got this baseline of trust and faith and belief and certainty. And because of that, you're not afraid to take steps and just go into the unknown and see what happens. And so I want to highlight this because I have always believed that this is one of Corks's biggest strengths, is that she has this, and because of that, she's able to make these decisions, to take these actions and then grow. And because there's always this trust, like the journey will unfold how the journey unfolds, and it did. It was like all over the place, unpredictable, but that was because of that baseline of certainty. So again, it all goes back to this massive lesson of don't be scared of making a decision, of just putting yourself out there, of doing something, because whatever happens and whatever you grow into as a result of it is going to start to open up the next stage of your journey, and then that's going to start to open up the next stage of your journey, and then gradually, bit by bit, you get to a point where, in your case, in March 2020, you're able to find a way to offer value to people who need it, using all the skills that you developed, and that then flourishes into Rebellious Business, which is what I really want to hear more about now. So after you got those first people on the webinar, and it just started as this little online networking event, how did it then start to grow and snowball? Like, what was the next few months?
Well, it mainly grew by just getting really loud about it. And I think that there are a few elements here. First and foremost, we have an amazing brand. For a networking event to be rebellious is something a little bit different. Networking is generally quite boring and dull at times, and can feel a bit conservative sometimes. Depends. They're not all like that, of course, but it kind of has that reputation. And so the thing is that I was just consistent. Every single Wednesday, I didn't skip one. The only Rebellious Business networks we've skipped are for Christmas Day, or for an event that we've replaced it with, like a full day event. We've never skipped one. It's like that absolute consistency. So there's the core message of being rebellious, which just basically means really being yourself. And I think that that's something that's taken me a long time to get to and nail, because I had tried in the past. I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to be a coach and whatever. And I started doing things about, helping mums and some kind of power mum community. And it makes me cringe looking back on it. Jesus Christ. Why did you let me even explore that train down?
At the time, it seemed like the right fit for you. I'm not going to say, Cordelia, your idea is terrible. You should stop that immediately.
Well, in hindsight, I'm like, the Power Mum Club. No, thanks. But look, this is what I mean. It's all a chain of events. And actually, in what you were just saying just now, I will come back and close its loop in a second. What you were just saying just now about the self-belief stuff, it's also about being able to see opportunity. Because every time something happens or you get offered something, there are 6 other opportunities that are linked to that door opening ahead that you can't see. And I have that belief as well, which is, and it's very important not to be short-sighted, because, for instance, if you were to start getting speaking gigs and you're not getting paid for them, and then it's like, well, I'm doing all this speaking, but no one's paying me for it. It's a waste of my time. And this is a conversation that I had with a lady who's got an incredible story. She's just getting started. She wants to be a public speaker. She wants to be a motivational speaker. That's what she wants to do. And she said to me, I'm doing all these speaking gigs, but no one's paying me for it. So I've started saying no to people. I'm not doing it anymore unless I get paid for it. And I'm like, girl, you're not at Beyonce status yet, right? We've got to work on that, okay? But the thing is that it's about not being short-sighted, because what that's doing is that's getting you in front of new audiences. And so every single thing that you get, every single door that comes your way, even if it's freaking terrifying, even if it's just getting on camera for the first time, there's always opportunities that lead off of it. So what happens with the Rebellious Business Network is that we launched this call. Now, I have no idea what's lying ahead, what opportunities are coming off of this one weekly networking call that I'm about to start doing. It was literally as well me just going, what can my role be through COVID? Because I'm not a nurse anymore. I'm not on the register. Like, how can I show up and support people? And so by putting that call together and having those people coming and being consistent with it, what happened was, as I said a minute ago, I was getting louder, but I was also being really helpful. I was like supporting people, and I was giving an example of how good my knowledge is, right? And so I know what I'm talking about. And so people are coming and saying, oh, I need your help with this. I'm like, oh yeah, I can help you with that. And so then what happened was that word of mouth starts growing the network. And also we are being quite unavoidable about it. So there's posts everywhere. In terms of the people that I'm immediately connected with on social media, they couldn't avoid it if they wanted to without blocking me. Like, it was loud. And I had people rocking up to the network being like, I just had to come along and see what the noise is about, because it's very pink and we have music and we try and make it really fun. And so, we have people just coming along just to see like, what is this thing? What's going on? And then of course you get, across all industries as a standard, 59% of referrals, 59% of acquisition comes from referrals, right? So in layman's terms, that means 59% of new people coming into your online business come from people talking about you. So what happened was that we have like loads of people just like coming in as well, because they're being like recommended, and then they're recommending people. And so we just grew this thing, and I'm not even talking big numbers. Like, I've made it sound like it's thousands. We have 760 people in the network to date, and we've done about 150 grand in sales off of 700, a list of 750 people. Like, it's not huge numbers.
And that's just to quickly touch on that, like for anyone starting out, you've hit the nail on the head that we often have this idea that, if we're going to do 6 figures in our business, we need like thousands and thousands and thousands of people in our network. Not at all. Like, as you said, 750 people in the network at the moment. You've done like massive 6 figures of revenue in 9 months off of the back of, less than 750 at that point. You don't need huge numbers to start.
Yeah. So, and then, as you mentioned at the start, I was about being on the panel. I was like 4 weeks into, or maybe 6 weeks or a couple of months. It wasn't that long into just running this network. And somehow I must be positioning myself as an expert or an authority in networking, because I have someone that comes along to the network and says, look, I'm running a big event. I'd really love for you to come along and be on the panel for the future of networking. And so I go along to this big networking event, and it's online, and there's this panel of these people that have been running networks for years. One of them's even authored the book Networking for Dummies. And I'm on this panel giving my professional opinion on how I feel COVID is going to affect the future of networking and what my professional opinion is on that. And it was just hysterical that I was even involved in that situation. I felt like an imposter. I was like, guys, come on, I've been doing this for 4 weeks. But it was fun. And so, I also spoke at that event, and I just started getting louder. And my philosophy is really simple. It's get clearer, get louder, get sales. Because all you got to do is get clarity on who you are, on what your mission is, on what impact you want to have in this world. And then you just got to get loud about it. And what will happen is you'll just have people gravitating towards you because they believe what you believe. It really is as simple as that. And it's not easy, but it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And so, the networking event kind of started growing and snowballing on its own. And I needed an assistant to help me. So I hired Miss Alex Franklin, who is now our rebellious in-house mindset coach. She's incredible. And she just started helping me running these Wednesday calls whilst managing all the clients that I was getting. And then we did our first launch. So inside the Rebellious Business Network, we did like a 5-day challenge, and we launched a brand new program. And we did like 22 grand in sales in 1 week. And I was like, whoa, oh my God, this is crazy. And And then, yeah, so we just carried on growing and carried on going in that same trajectory. I hired my sister, which has been a massive part of my journey. Then we had another launch and we did 40 grand in sales in 1 week off the back of that launch.
Wow.
And now I'd say that we're at a point where we've been going strong for over a year now. I think it's time to go, okay, cool. I've proved I can get to 6 figures with no ads. Now we're going to start using ads, turn up the dials and bring in some bigger numbers.
So it's like the next stage of RBN's journey. How exciting. I love that, Cork. So I the second thing I was going to pick up on about 10 minutes ago when I said 2 things, the second thing was this value aspect. And you've mentioned it a few times. And I just think that to kind of tie up this conversation, it's the perfect thing to really talk about, because the way that you're able to simultaneously have the trust and the faith and the belief to just move forwards and take action and do things and then see what paths open up in front of you. But combined with that, focus on seeing how you can help, how can you provide value, and then just being loud about that, just getting yourself out there and really having that intention to try and improve people's lives, to do good in ways that you can. It's like these 2 things is such a powerful combination to end up getting to where you are right now. So one, I want to acknowledge you for that, because it's been bloody awesome to see, and your results are a testament to the impact that you have had. Because for anyone watching this, just remember that the what you get paid is directly proportional to the value that you provide. And so if you're focusing on just providing as much value as you possibly can, you're going to end up getting everything that you want in return. So such an important lesson. Thank you for sharing your full journey. Any closing thoughts, Corks, that you would say for somebody who's in this position? They want to replace their income. They maybe feel that they have some value to add, whether it is coaching or consulting or even another path, and they get that they need to just take action and start putting themselves out there. What closing thoughts or advice would you give to someone in that position?
I have 100 things I want to say.
Might not have time for 100, maybe 2 or 3 max.
Seriously, think about it though, because if you're feeling scared to make a jump, I want you to think about what you're going to feel about not having taken that jump when you're in your 80s or 90s. And that for me was the non-negotiable. It's like, I cannot get to the end of my life and look back and see that I didn't achieve the things that I knew that were really inside of me. And I'm just scratching the surface. I'm just at the beginning of that journey, to be honest. You know, that it's not done. It's never done. Like, no. Literally, and so are you, Dan. Like, we're still at the start. But it's a case of really thinking about, will you regret not doing it? And if you will, maybe you won't. Maybe you're like, no, do you know what? I just want a quiet life. I just want to go to work and I want to come home. There's no wrong in that. You've got to do what you feel called to do. But if you do feel like you're hungry for more, don't just dip your toe in the water and go, oh, well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back. Because if you rely on plan B like that, you're not throwing your whole self full front and center into the fire to give it a real go. And I think that it's really important to be all in. And I think you can have a little bit of playing around and seeing, you know, is this going to be something that I'm interested in? You need to have that exploratory phase. But I think that if you are going to do this, throw your whole self in and be all in and burn the boats if that feels necessary. But just make sure that you're all in, because if you are half in, you'll be one of that awful statistic of businesses that fail within the first year, because the going will get tough and there will be things that come up and you will feel like an imposter, or you will feel like you're not good enough for this, or your laptop will crash, or maybe something will happen, and there will be a moment at some point in your journey where you go, oh my God, I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
And if it's easy for you to go back to plan B, and then you're going to get to 80 and go, damn, I should have persevered. So just be all in a nutshell, is what I would say. All in.
All in. And on that note, then, if you are watching this and you're like, yes, I'm inspired, I want to follow my dreams, I want to, you know, really go after what's important to me and provide value and everything that Cordelia's talked about, then Corks has shared with all of us in Scrap the 9 to 5 a resource. And this is going to be for anyone who is looking to be a coach, looking to be a consultant, or maybe interested in exploring that path. And it's the 5-day launch program that she did, covering topics of finding and focusing on your why, how to niche down and become the obvious choice for your clients, knowing and understanding your dream client, elevating your brand so that you stand out, and building relationships in your marketing to attract the right clients. Quarks has kindly shared that for free with everyone who, if you're watching this, that includes you, with all of us who are interested in maybe the coaching and consulting path. So you can go ahead and access that. If you're watching this video on YouTube, it's going to be in the description just below. You can create a free account in the Scrap the 9 to 5 vault, and then you can access this 5-day course program for free. And if you're watching this on a Scrap the 9 to 5 webpage, then just click the button below, create a free account in the vault. And again, you can watch this 5-day course. Those 5 modules, it's the backbone of getting yourself launched and out there. And you're going to learn a lot from Corks as she goes into more depth of what she's talked about today on that 5-day program. So Cordelia, thank you. I appreciate you. You're a legend. And I'm sure as soon as the world starts to open up, we'll have a real event at some point soon, not just an online event.
I've already got one planned.
You've got one planned?
Yeah.
Oh, when's it happening?
7th and the 8th of July.
Oh my goodness, that's not long. 7th and the 8th of July. Well, if it's is it publicly open for like everyone to join? Because I might do a cheeky broadcast to everyone who's on my email list to let them know.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the Rebellious Business Network. So if we get them in the network, which is free to join, they can come along.
There you go. All right, you heard it here first. Good stuff. I'll let you go. Thank you so much for your time, Corks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.